Well, hello everyone. Welcome. This is my podcast, Quest for You. And I'm Janine, and I welcome you to episode 181. Lately, I've been doing a lot of research on emotional intelligence and how it affects our interactions with other people. And the more I learn about it, the more I'm convinced of its importance for each and every one of us. In fact, it's so important that I think it should be a required class in high school. It's considered a skill, but it's a skill we cannot live without. Our awareness of our own thoughts and behaviors are key to our relationships with other human beings. And it ties in very much with our quest for you, which is all about greater awareness of who we are, what our thoughts and behaviors are, and the resulting choices that we make. So, in the coming weeks, be prepared. You will see a few episodes related to this topic that I'm very fascinated by, and I hope you will share some of my excitement when you begin to see the potential impact this can have on your life. Because the amazing aspect of emotional intelligence is that it is learnable, and it all starts with awareness. Most of our thoughts and reactions are automated. They come from a deep, sometimes dark place within, formed years ago and adopted by us as that is who we are. Learning about emotional intelligence will challenge you to reflect on whether these behaviors are actually effective. Today, I want to begin with something very important that will get us into the mood for the future episodes on emotional intelligence, also sometimes called EQ. I want to speak about social value. And it's an important concept because our social value is directly driven by our emotional intelligence. As social animals, we always compare ourselves with others. We do this instinctively to help maintain balance and structure within our interpersonal relationships. We tend to wonder and ask ourselves, how much value does this person here that I'm meeting have in relation to myself? More, less, or the same? And based on our judgment on where we stand in terms of social value, we adopt certain thoughts and behaviors. What those thoughts and behaviors are depends very much on whether we have high social value or low social value. So, you can think of social value as a set of beliefs about ourselves and the world. And these beliefs result in thoughts and behaviors, and also in judgments about the people around us. High value behaviors tend to attract high value people, people that have a similar mindset. And in turn, these people will help you increase your social value because they set a good example of the right behaviors. The same is true for low value behaviors. If your actions are low value, you'll attract people whose actions are similar. And this then will stifle your progress because you will not be surrounded by the best examples. So to start thinking about your social value, look at the people around you. Do you mostly hang out with people who are a pleasure to be around with? Or do the people at your work and your social circle bring you mostly down, frustrate you, or annoy you? Also, look at your social media connections. Do the people you follow post negative information, or do they post encouraging and motivational content? I noticed that since Trump has become president, I feel the negativity on social media has just exploded. And I see so many people joining into the trash talk. Even if it's just another funny picture or a joke, think about where you are with this behavior in relationship to other people who might be driving changes and encouraging people to speak up. Sometimes it's easy to lose track of the high road, and then you find yourself on the lower tracks. So after you look at your friends, now look at yourself and ask, why do I read these posts? Why do I spend time with these people that only complain? Or why do I work in an environment where everyone only thinks of themselves and there's no real teamwork and support? Do you enjoy it? Or do you even participate in the negativity? And if so, why? And what results is this getting you? We know we cannot change others. So if you are seeking to break out of some of this low social value behavior that you find yourself surrounded by, then it starts with you. You have to raise your value from low to high. Low value behaviors are usually the ones that come easier to us, but they're also not always the most effective ones. Higher value behaviors require more effort, at least initially as you learn them. And tomorrow's episode will focus exclusively on high value behaviors, so please come back for that. When we talk about emotional intelligence, this topic will also come up again. Because using EQ will, by default, bring our behaviors from low to high. For today, I want to raise your awareness to the concept of low versus high value and reflect on how it applies to your life. We will touch on low value behaviors and what the consequences are of these. Sometimes we come from a place of high value, but then we're pushed down into low value behaviors by actions that we observe around us, maybe from the people that we hang out with. And sometimes we're lucky and we observe high value behaviors because we are with great people that set the right example for us. So don't judge low value behavior as bad. We all act in ways that are not always the best. We could be having a bad day, or simply we don't know any better. And we excuse the same behaviors when our loved ones show them to us. As human beings, we need social interactions. No matter how much of an introvert you are, you still have times where you enjoy the company of others, even if it's just online. There are 3 basic needs that we always seek to meet. 1, attention. We want others to notice us. We want to stand out from the crowd in some form. 2, approval. We want others to acknowledge us and encourage our actions, interests, and ideas. And 3, acceptance. This is our natural desire to belong. We all want to feel like we belong to something. Now, how we go about meeting the need for attention, approval, and acceptance varies, and it has a lot to do with our upbringing and our conditioning as we grow up. When you can't yet talk, you get attention from crying. When you get older, you find other ways to get attention. And sometimes we are simply not prepared. Maybe we didn't observe the proper behaviors from our family, or we adopted our own methods based on what worked best. Often we experiment, and the behaviors that get rewarded when we are growing up, those tend to stick. We got around just fine in high school by not doing homework, cheating on exams, and bullying others. In adult life, some of this may continue to work for us, but probably not for long, and not without a few problems at work and at home. The harder you're trying to get your needs met, usually the lower your value behaviors tend to be. When you feel you need to desperately get attention, approval, and acceptance, you'll often resort to lower means for obtaining them. You're pushing and you're trying to control the outcome, and that usually doesn't work well. Such behaviors associated with low value can take one of 3 forms. There are the supplicative behaviors. These behaviors are associated with begging. While most people don't beg outright for attention, they do so through various methods. You go out of your way to be liked and accepted. What comes to mind for me are gangs and other groups where people have to perform sometimes cruel acts to be acknowledged and accepted into the group. Some people buy their way to approval and attention through expensive gifts, drinks, and anything that they think they need to do in order to get someone's attention. Supplicative behaviors also involve making yourself smaller, even invisible, through your actions and your words. You're playing the victim and you're trying to get everyone's attention this way. Poor me, look at me. It is also characterized by agreeing with everything your friends say and going along with everything they do. Not having an opinion or not stating your opinion is a desperate move to try to fit in. Supplicative behaviors will wear your friends out. Eventually, people will get tired of your begging and ignore you. Think of someone who did this to you. We often consider these people a nuisance. They like to complain and whine and blame everyone but themselves. If this worked for you in the past, then I would not be surprised if your friends are either extremely patient or you simply don't have the right group of friends. When you have to rely on victimhood, usually you attract the wrong type of friends. High-value people usually don't have much patience for people who don't take responsibility. So your takeaway is this: not taking responsibility for your actions is a strong characteristic of low social value. Then there are the combative behaviors. These are behaviors that are overly aggressive and hostile towards others as a way to demand attention, approval, and acceptance. This is almost the opposite of begging. These are people that put others down, often by inflating themselves. Everyone is wrong but me. These people constantly talk about themselves, they brag, and they make you feel inferior by talking over you and stealing the attention away from you. Associating yourself with combative people will put off your high-value friends. Not only do you risk losing quality friends because of such difficult people, but you yourself can get into trouble through the irresponsible actions of people that are always in fight mode. I know we all can get a little bit combative at times, especially when we feel personally attacked. When we talk about emotional intelligence, we will discuss some strategies for a better approach. There are the competitive behaviors. Many of us are competitive, and not all competitiveness is unhealthy. But when you are in a constant state of trying to win others over, then you're not really on your own quest for your life. Rather, your motive is to get attention, approval, and acceptance by trying to be better than others. You get external value over that intrinsic satisfaction that comes from achieving goals that you have set for yourself because of a desire to be better than yourself, not someone else. Competition in sports comes to mind, but the goal of everyone engaged to be the best is usually not personal. It's a desire to set a record that comes from within. A level of competitiveness is good when it motivates you to get up and get moving. Maybe initially you are driven by what others do and have, but soon it turns into your own quest to reach your own goals. Many times in my life I've been inspired by others, the things they did and accomplished, but I didn't start my endeavor so I could compete with them. Rather, I wanted the same for myself. I wanted to master that skill and feel or look this good. I saw the benefit for my own life. But if you're setting goals because you want the same car, the same house, and the same career as your friend or your boss, without understanding why, simply to just keep up, then this is a low-value behavior. All of these three behaviors are not something you're born with. There are many reasons why we resort to them. Often, they come from a place of fear and insecurity and not feeling good enough. We all like to get attention. Just look at the way social media has taken off. We just don't always know the best way to connect with others. We know some things are not working, but it doesn't occur to us that there might be a way to change this. So this goes back to the notion of a scarcity mindset versus an abundance mindset. When you think that everything about your character and personality is unchangeable, then you're coming from a place of scarcity. But when you recognize that not everything about you is effective when it comes to your relationships with others, and if you strive to become better, then you have an abundance mindset. The fact that you're listening to this episode is a sign that you're seeking change. We all have an opportunity to improve and to turn some of our low-value behaviors into high-value behaviors. And tomorrow, we will go over on how to do just that. Until then, I'll leave you thinking about some of the areas in your life where maybe you are exhibiting low-value behaviors, and start thinking about what you could do to change that. Much love. Until next time.